What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about women who are fighting for relationships that they're not even in. You're not even in a relationship, yet you're giving it your all. Ladies, that's the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. That's what this video is about. Obviously, this video is going to help women who are, if you're talking to someone, ladies, someone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and you're not in an official relationship, this video is for you, so pay attention, okay? Jumping right into this. I can remember a time, as a man, right? I can remember, I'm not saying it's non-existent today, but it's a lot less. I can remember a time where I'm looking at a woman, not just some random girl, some girl I might be an acquaintance with or talking to for a bit or a couple dates or, classmate or whatever it is. And I would look at her and I would be like, oh my goodness, the things I would do to be with her. It would just be like this fantasy in my head, like this, oh my goodness, holy moly, this woman. Like women were like this alluring creature, like you were this alluring a species, I was a goddess. It was just like, oh my goodness. Men used to think like that all the time about women, but times have changed. What the heck is the problem? So, as you can see on this side, there's the guy. He's like, oh my goodness, I want her. Wow, this is amazing. The things I would do to take her off the market, yada, yada, yada. Nowadays, I think it's kind of the opposite. I'm not saying it's non-existent, but like I said, men are like, it's too easy. And I'm sure you ladies have felt this, where you know you have value, but at the same time, you have a man who is taking you for granted. Well, what's going on here? I truly feel that a lot of women today, and again, please leave in the comments below. I don't want to put any words in your mouth. I've just been doing this for 10 years. But women who are staying with men, yet are experiencing cognitive dissonance, meaning you should drop this guy, but you don't. You're trying to fill some type of void in your life, whether that's a lack of experience or a lack of options. Maybe age might be getting to you. You're like, I'm 35. I need to start settling down quick because I want kids. Or you're maybe past that and you're like 55 and you're like, I don't want to die alone. So it's something in terms of age. I would say it's insecurity. Insecurity could be another one. Or if you let this guy go, I guess another one is if you let this guy go, you don't know when another decent guy is going to come along. Maybe you're in a small town with a bunch of duds, right? A bunch of, bald men with big beer bellies, they drink fucking Bud Light all the time, whatever it is. And the guy you're talking to is a decent guy. If he leaves, you're like, I'm going to be single for another 2 years. Like, you don't want to let it go. You're trying to fill some type of void, okay? And the problem with this is I always say women get themselves into this vicious cycle when they start really liking a guy and they're trying to fill a void. Both those things have to kind of apply. And the cycle basically is you desire a man so much to the point that you fear losing him, so you lower your standards to keep him around in hopes that he changes, and then he takes advantage of that opportunity, okay? So, again, if that's you, leave a comment below. What I believe transitions a man from here to here is personally several things. Now, this is just a small list. I could go on with the list. I cover this whole board like I'm doing some math, some math problem. But I always believe that for whatever it is, especially at the halfway point, you're going to see men put some effort in the beginning, right? Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but for the most part, they do. But at the halfway point, when things start to change, a woman, for some reason, starts working harder than him. A woman starts like, hey, man, you got to meet me halfway. You got to meet me halfway. And she's at the halfway point, but he's still over here. And it's like ghosting her. It's like, oh, okay, I thought we were going to meet each other halfway. I thought we were going to work on this. Where are you at? Like, where are you at? And he's nowhere to be found. But then she sticks around. And then she wonders why he's pulling the bullshit he's pulling. Because she's working harder than him. She's giving him more chances than he deserves. Ladies, if there's anything you can get out of my courses, or I guess my guides, which are down below, whether it's a session with me, my videos, please understand these two things. Number one, love. Dating is transactional. It's a lot of give and take. I know that doesn't sound sexy, but it is. If you're giving a guy chances, I don't care how much you like him. I don't give a shit how much you like him, right? And I know that's not very human-like. I know emotions are important. I'm not saying just shut up and turn into a robot, AI, and close it off. That's not realistic. I'm just letting you know, with that aside, that if you're giving a man more chances than he deserves, you're taking the burden of risk, okay? You're taking the burden of risk. If you're giving a guy more chances than he deserves, he's not going to step up. It just doesn't make sense for him to do so. It just doesn't make sense. So that's the first thing. Dating is transactional. The second thing, again, I get a lot of flack for this, but it is the truth. You need to date selfishly, love selflessly, okay? So when you're in the dating stage, you need to be fighting for scraps. You need to, now I mean that like literally fighting for like the lower entry man. I just mean like for every little advantage. You're picking the bone or you're picking the meat off the bone. You're not just like biting a slab and then throwing it. You're picking every little piece off. You need every little advantage. Both sexes do, okay? The more advantages you have, whether that be getting a guy to like you, whether that being you being more attractive, you having a higher SMV than him, or it could be vice versa. Maybe you're the only person, maybe you are the only person talking to him, or you're not talking to anybody else is what I'm saying. So he has an advantage over that. Maybe he's better looking. Maybe he has 15 dates with you, and you guys have a history. Again, these are all advantages. You want to get all advantages in your favor, okay? You want to get all advantages in your favor. You want to be very selfish with dating. And again, doesn't mean you can't put out, doesn't mean you can't give, doesn't mean you can't show some mutual or reciprocity. You can, but you need to make sure you get it first, okay? You need to make sure you get it first, or you're going to get screwed. Please trust me on this, ladies. The problem is, going back to the premise of the video, is you guys don't do that. You're working harder than he is. You're giving him more chances, and then, like I said, you're wondering why you're in the situation you're in. Well, it's because he's not taking the burden of risk. You're meeting him halfway. You're doing all these things, and he's just sitting back like, whatever, blah, 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 blah. That's not how it works. Which goes to the next thing. What all this does is lower your value, ladies. It lowers your value. A man is not going to, ladies, you have to understand, a man is not going to double down on you if he doesn't need to. We are naturally resourceful creatures. This is what I mean by, be selfish. This is what I mean by be selfish. If a man doesn't have to take you on a date, ladies, to get in your pants, he's not going to. He's not going to. Just the same thing with value. If I don't have to do all these things, or let's just say I make every mistake in the book and I'm still around, I'm not going to correct myself. You're proving your value right there by keeping me around. And the problem men and women have with this is the difference in how they see value. Women are very emotional about it. They're like, well, I really like him, Lo. I don't want to cut it off, Elliot. I really like him. Whereas men see it as I guess, more logical, and they see it as resources, right? They're like, well, if I don't have to do X, Y, Z, I'm not going to do X, Y, Z. And then he looks at what he can give a woman to get what he wants out of it. Again, dating is transactional. And then he plays accordingly. Now, I know that sounds very upsetting. I'm not saying that's all men want. I'm not saying men can't like a woman. I'm not saying men can't transition into a relationship. They absolutely can. They can fall in love. Like I said, he can make every sacrifice in the book for a woman. But until then, you are playing a game. A game of risk, lady. You are playing a game of risk. Now it's all. You're playing a game of risk. You do not want to assume. You do not want to play off emotions. Emotions are like this. They're sporadic. They make you make the wrong decisions. You have to play the correct game. And again, going back to the premise of this video, if you're fighting for a relationship that you're not even in, why in the hell would he go? Why would he take the extra step? It just doesn't make sense, ladies. So again, right? And I guess let me sum this up before I go forward. Women are like, I'll try everything, okay? They just won't let it go, which kind of goes back up to here. They just won't let it go. And then they wonder why they're in the situation they're in. Ladies, if you're talking to a guy for more than 2 months and you're not in a relationship, this video applies to you, okay? Something's up. You cannot be fighting for a relationship that you're not even in. It's his job to court you. If he's not doing so, you gotta call it out. If things do not change, ladies, you cannot stick around. You will lose. It's 100% guarantee you lose that. It's 100% guarantee because of the reason why he's not investing his resources and courting you and all that in the first place, okay? So with that being said, if you want to get a session on your situation that has to do with this, if you want to get my guides, 9 guides for the price of 1, links down below. I love you all. Take care and peace.